But as always, we're going into this meal having no idea what we're doing, but it's gonna be tasty, it's gonna be delicious. Good day from the high desert. We are east of the Cascades in Central Oregon. Here it is still winter, spring, winter, and it's gonna be this way through the end of May, I do believe. Up at Mount Bachelor, they still have skiing happening through the end of May. I believe they still have the lifts going up there. And in a lot of places around the United States, the ski resorts are shutting down, but not here. We still have lots of snow pending in the forecast for months to come. This morning, I'm gonna make the kids some iced tea or some iced cream tea. They've been enjoying this on occasion. I just make up a big pot of tea, and whether they want it hot or cold is up to them. We throw some ice in a cup just before we pour the hot tea over, or they could have a cup of hot tea, and today they didn't want that. They all wanted iced tea, and Bodie requested milk in his tea because he likes cold milk tea, and it is a tasty treat. I agree with him. And then in just a few minutes, we're gonna get started on some breakfast. Back there, I've got some bread and some eggs, and we are gonna stretch our eggs and make some French toast. Annika here is asking me if she can go outside and prance around in her new sparkly dress shoes. I took my girls out with me on a little shopping excursion, and she found these cute little sparkly shoes at Goodwill, so she picked those up. She's quite the thrifty shopper, and she really lucked out because on this day, those shoes were in her size. They were tagged yellow, which means they were 50% off, so she got them for $1.50. I thought that was a huge score. Our mornings are pretty relaxed, but I like to get school started first thing in the morning after we have breakfast. So we kind of mill around the house for a little while, and the kids will read books, or some of them will start their homeschool while I'm making breakfast, or they're tidying up the dining area so that we can have a meal together. But while they do that, I'm gonna slice up this bread and get this French toast going. I do 4 eggs to a cup of milk, and if you need to double batch it, you can double batch it. But that's what I start with in my little pie dish. And we're gonna go ahead and cook up the whole loaf of bread, and that way my kids can have some throughout the day or for breakfast tomorrow. And it's one less thing that I have to do. I'll just cook it all right now. Now that things are starting to slow down just a smidge, I'm still a bit overwhelmed with the homeschooling situation, but we're gonna get that ironed out. We're gonna get it sorted, and we might be homeschooling through part of the summer. And that's okay. That's the joy of homeschool, is working at our kids' pace, at our life's pace, and getting it done when we can do it. But as I was saying before, I try to knock out homeschool every morning so that we can have the rest of the day for free time to do whatever we like. On this day, it's snowing outside, so the kids are eager to get out there and play. Finishing up this French toast now. I think today we are gonna serve it with some elderberry syrup and a side of blueberries. We're gonna go ahead and get the kids served up as this French toast is ready, and then all the leftover I'm gonna plate up to let it cool. And once it's cooled, I'll pop it in a container. Looks like a good homeschool setup. Getting a massage and a haircut while you learn.
What's the ultimate chair?
The biggest joy of homeschooling is having time together and being with each other as a family, learning and growing together, but also that we can get all of our academics done and use the rest of the day to do anything that we please, all the things that bring us joy, and all the adventures that we want to go on. This is why we homeschool. This recipe is going to be available in a short on my channel, but it's ravioli I got from Costco with a delicious tomato sauce that I used up some grape tomatoes that nobody was eating, and I mashed them up, strained them out, and made a delicious sauce. Are ya? All right, we got a package here. Time to see what's in it. Gonna see what's in this one, and we got another package too, but we'll open that one up later. But today we'll just do this one. Hang on. All right, it looks like we've got a scooter here, and we are gonna work on putting this together. We got a couple of tools and a little kit, so we're gonna get this assembled. All right, assembly was super easy. The scooter came with an Allen wrench, and we just put all the pieces together. There he goes. Is it a smooth ride?
What?
A smooth ride?
Yeah.
Mom,
Way too smooth.
Way too smooth. Hagen, you gonna give it a spin? Perfect size for Honey. This is the stunt scooter from Vavor, and you can find it linked down below in this video's description. We were running short on scooters and needed to pick another one up for our family, and this one is for the big kids. Even Aaron can ride on it, as I'm gonna show you in just a minute, but it's been a lot of fun and a great addition to our outdoor toy stash. How is it?
it's harder than I expected. It's really sweet.
Scooter fighting.
Scooter fighting.
You see that leg? All right, we got a bunch of leftovers that we need to use up. So we've got beans from our burrito night that we had a few nights ago. We've got some taco meat. We're gonna add those together. We've got a can of Rotel and some beans. But we're gonna make maybe a chili mac. But as always, we're going into this meal having no idea what we're doing, but it's gonna be tasty, it's gonna be delicious. So let's make some chili something. The goal in any meal is to see how many vegetables I can cram into it and my kids will actually consume. So that's what I'm gonna do with this chili mac that I'm making. Of course, I haven't quite confirmed that it's chili mac. That's just where my brain's kind of headed. But what we're gonna do is throw in a couple stalks of celery and get that sauteing in the olive oil. And I also have some courgettes, or some zucchini as it's called here, that I purchased from Costco, and I need to use it up. So I'm gonna have to start throwing it in all the recipes. You see that taco meat right there? Well, I shredded up some courgettes, fine shredded, so that the kids didn't notice it, and I mixed it into that taco meat. So then we added it to this pot, and then we went in with our Rotel, and now we're throwing in the meat. And we're gonna get all of this mixed up together. Annika has some beans from the burrito night the night before, and then I'm also gonna add in a can of rinsed tri-colored beans. I love these tri-colored beans because I love variety. About a teaspoon of better than bouillon, and about a cup of water. Bouillon.
Oh no.
We got that bouillon. Adding bouillon is optional, or you can add some beef broth or chicken broth or bone broth, whatever you have. You just need some liquid in this. I'm also gonna douse it with some chili powder. Now the taco meat already has taco seasoning in it, and I'm also gonna do just a couple dashes of cumin in here. We're gonna do some garlic powder, some onion powder, you know, the typical trifecta of things. And we're also gonna do a little bit of pepper and salt to taste. Remember, the bouillon already has sodium or salt in it, so it's gonna add that saltiness to your dish, and plus the meat was already seasoned. And just taste your food as you go and season it accordingly. You may need to add or subtract, well, too late, you can't subtract anything, but you might need to add a little bit of seasoning in there. You can be cautious, or you can be like me and just sling the seasonings in there. Taste as you go. It's gonna be delicious, I promise you. This is one of those dishes that you can throw in your leftover vegetables if you have them, and I did. I had a variety of mixed vegetable, or not a variety, but I had some mixed vegetables left over from the day before, and so we threw those in there, as well as some tomato paste. I am going to add just a little bit more water. I just wanted to get that tomato paste dissolved in there, but we're going to add a smidge more water just to bring out the brothiness in this, because we are making it a chili mac. It does need to have a bit of brothiness to it, which the al dente noodles will absorb some of the liquid and get some of that flavor. But we're also going to throw a block or half a block of cream cheese in this, just to make it a little bit creamier, a little bit cheesier. You can add heavy cream to this if you like. You can add cottage cheese, sour cream, whatever you want. But we're also gonna add in these vegetable bouillon that I made a few months back. This is on my channel. I freeze dried them, and now I'm adding them to all the soups and stews just to get some extra vegetables in to my kids' system. So you can see that those kind of mush up into a paste in here, and we're gonna get everything mixed in, and it's gonna be tasty. Just a couple of more for good measure, because we like flavor in this house, and these vegetable bouillon cubes have so much flavor, and they're loaded with all kinds of vegetables. We just ground them up and dehydrated them, and boom, vegetable bouillon. Well, there's a whole method to the madness. I actually made a vegetable broth and with the bouillon, and it was supposed to be a soup, but I mashed it all up and I ground it all up with my immersion blender and had the great idea to turn it into a bouillon that I can sneak into all of the dishes to nourish my family. Here we go in with the cream cheese. I'm not sure if I said I was using sour cream earlier or what, but I'm using cream cheese. So we're going in with about half a block. It might have been 3/4 of a 8-ounce block that I had in my refrigerator. And we're gonna mix this in there until it is all nice and melty and smooth. In the meantime, I do have some hot water going to boil up some noodles. I also have some leftover Spanish rice right there. So if any of the kids don't want chili mac, then they can have some rice with some chili on the side, which is how I like it. But you know, options around here. We give everybody options. We also have the rice back there warming up on the warming burner for Aaron and I to have dinner. We don't always eat the same thing as the kids. You know, we just sling it. You know, bless our little pea-picking hearts. Aaron and I just have different diets than each other, than the kids. So depending on the days, depending on what we're in the mood for, depending on our pain levels, basically, depends on what we can eat. And so I'm in the midst of a pancreas flare. I have to be really careful about what I eat to avoid a full-blown case of acute pancreatitis. Now, I can tell when my pancreas is flaring because I've been dealing with this for nearly a decade now, but only in the last year have we known the cause for the severe pain. So now that we know, I have learned to manage it. So I haven't ended up in the hospital or in a severe bout of pain for months. And I can say that that has been wonderful. I've really enjoyed living life lately, but I do have flares and times when I need to fast, and I have to be very careful about what I'm eating. And I know when I'm flaring because it's hormone related, and I can feel it in my stomach. I can feel the pain creeping up. And if I'm not careful, like I said, I will land myself in the hospital with a full-blown case of acute pancreatitis, and we can't have that as a homeschool mom of 5, especially now that Aaron is working full-time. So we're real careful about what we eat, but we still make delicious meals for our family. It's just not as fun if you're an adult in the Rowe house. Back there, we have shredded up some Azure Standard cheese, or cheese that I buy in 5-pound bulk blocks, and that is a raw cheddar that I like to get from there. And I just shredded it up, and we're gonna use that as a topping in this chili mac and cheese dish, or whatever we're gonna call this, some kind of yummy pasta. The kids loved it. We had enough for leftovers for the next day, but not for everybody. My nearly 13-year-old ate all of the leftovers. He loved it so much, but I did have some leftover chili in the pot, so I did boil some noodles again the next day and make the rest of the chili mac. And they really enjoyed it. So this is something I will continue to make for them. Only one, the 4-year-old, was disgruntled that there were beans in his mac and cheese, and he didn't see the cheese. So he was a bit confused. He did not want to eat this meal, but that's all right. He did not go to bed hungry. We had plenty of food, other food for him to eat, and everybody else gobbled this up. That just meant there was more for them. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.